Hello, hello! If you can see me, if you can hear me, let me know. I have a little bit of a pre-cold happening, and you can see all my little horns coming out. I'm gonna cover them with my nice purple hair. Hi, Caitlin! Just gonna wait for a couple minutes for anyone else who wants to hop on live to join us. If you're watching live, say hi. And if you are not watching live, if you're watching the replay, just type in replay into the comments and you can probably skip ahead to about the second or third minute. It doesn't tell me how long I've been on, so that's okay. I got my timer over here. Mhm. And I got my notes over here, and I got my nice hot tea because I don't want to just have like a throat seize up scenario. Hi, Sonia. Good. Good, good, good. We're just gonna sit here and wait for a couple people in case they wish to come on. I'm toying with the idea of having like some music playing in the background, but at the same time, I don't want it to interfere with my camera quality. Okay, the hair seems to be slightly settled today. So tell me, how has your day been? Now that you have declared your intentions for this manifestation training, what's been happening? Is there anything that you have been, are you receiving any sort of signs? And you'll notice that today's training is all about signs and mistakes. So, especially those of you who have been manifesting for a while, who are familiar. Yeah, it is only you so far. And that's okay because um, we do have a lot of people who are watching on replay, and that's okay and that's fine. But however, if there is anyone on, I really don't know how to invite people on here. Uh, but we will try. Do, 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 do. Ooh, Sonia, please draw some tarot cards. Draw? Is that the right word? Pull some tarot cards. Hi, Anika. So nice of you to come and join us. How do you invite people to come watch? Anyway, just gonna ask for another few seconds. And we're actually going to start. Let me just keep this. Tap it over here. Tap it over here. Okay. All right. So, today is all about common mistakes and signs of your manifestation being on the way. Okay, so it's before we go any further, the general formula or the general steps of manifesting are asking, believing, or the manifestation or the request that you've asked for being given, and then receiving. Okay, so the fact that the giving and the receiving are two separate steps tells you how important receiving is, and that is what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. So you want to make sure that you show up for tomorrow, preferably live, which is one of the reasons why I'm asking if we turn around the time a little bit, if we push it back a little bit, will more people be able to join us? Because I think the energy of receptivity is something that a lot of us can really benefit from. So keep your eyes peeled for that, like just throwing a teaser in there right in the beginning. Excuse me. Okay, there's going to be a lot of energy shifts, right? So today we're going to be talking about the mistakes, the very common mistakes that people. Oh no, does the video keep freezing? Oh my God. Okay, wait. Did not need to be that dramatic, but I'm just gonna see if I can clear up some of the stuff. I hope it's showing me live in the group. Just going to refresh that. Okay, but I'm hoping, here's to hoping that everything goes well here on forward. Okay, I put my notes away because I'm all over the place today. Uh, yeah, all right. So let me know if you can't see me or hear me or if anything happens and if we need to do this again. It's not a big issue. Okay. Just gonna have a look see here. I don't see myself. Oh, there I go. Okay. We're fine. We're live. Um, Sorry about that. I should really figure out how long this interlude has been. Don't want to waste any more time. Let's jump into mistakes. So, a lot of times when we're being specific with our intention, when we're trying to manifest a particular outcome, it happens that in being either specific, in trying to control the outcome, a lot of times we end up creating situations that actually hinder our progress. And these are the mistakes that I'm going to be talking about. So these are things that we don't usually talk about because they're negative and there's like a negative emotion in there, and those are not bad. Because as you saw yesterday, we spoke about how your negative emotions and feeling bad about things can actually lead you to greater and greater clarity. And something along those lines is certain mistakes that we make when we put forward, hey Anna, so nice to see you live on here. So some of the common mistakes that I see when people start manifesting, and when we manifest with intention, we want to avoid, are things like impatience. So when you put a very aggressive timeline, and I use that word very with intention, when you put a really aggressive timeline on the universe that you need X thing to happen, I'm going to be using soulmate and money here, okay? Like relationships and money here as examples, because I think those will highlight a lot of the mistakes that people tend to make, and it's also what a lot of you want to bring into your lives. Okay, if you haven't already made your intention to the group, I would suggest go ahead and do that because that stuff is powerful. All right, so um impatience, the need to set a timeline and to have the source, the universe, bend to your timeline can often put up a lot of resistance in your path, right? Because we're used to having a certain amount of control over our life and our actions. And when we put a timeline, say for example, you're used to creating $1,000 a week in income from your jobs, with gifts, whatever, and you suddenly decide that you want to manifest $10,000 or $100,000 or $1 million in the space of a week. Now, if you give yourself an aggressive timeline like a week, immediately there's going to be a part of you that tells you whether or not you believe in this happening. And if your goal surpasses your belief, then that's going to start introducing resistance, because there are a lot of who, what, when, where, how questions that come in, kind of goes against your intention of having that manifestation to begin with. Part two is kind of related to this, which is the need to control and the need to know the specifics. So your specifics include, how is the money going to come in? When is the money going to come in? Where is the money going to come from? Who is going to give me that money? If we are talking about and it all sort of works together. If you want to give yourself the timeline and you just said, I want to manifest $1 million, but that $1 million was so far away from you that you couldn't quite make my friend Taylor calls it bridging the gap. If you can't quite bridge the gap between what you believe and what you're wanting to manifest, then that starts bringing up a lot of resistance also, because maybe it's, well, definitely our human selves and in our limited perspectives cannot see the impossible number of, infinite number of ways that money can come to you. We cannot see the infinite channels of money coming in. We cannot see the little moment by moment, interaction by interaction ways that the universe, your inner being, your soul might be leading you towards the things that you want. And again, the money here is just a stand-in for whatever your goal is. So if your goal is unlimited health, there might be many small steps along the way to unlimited health, and become uh, it does become a lot clearer when we take those specifics out of the equation and we're just focusing on what we did yesterday, which is finding the feelings that we want to be experiencing, becoming clear on what is the end goal that we want to get to. Another one is obsessing over the outcome. So if you have a particular money goal in mind and then you refuse to eat or drink or sleep or let it go for even a second, and all you're thinking about is, constantly, I see this a lot with affirmations. People are constantly affirming their goal, but they're not believing it. So all you're doing is saying, I want $1 million, I want $1 million, I want $1 million, I want $1 million. And underneath, because there isn't yet that feeling of belief, because that gap is too far, it's just reiterating the need, the want for it, the absence of it, and not really letting the presence of that money come in. Yes? Hey, Ashley, nice to see you. Yeah, I know, Sonia, exactly. It's obsessing is something that I think we get a little carried away with. And we don't realize it. See, because we're being told to constantly think about your goal, constantly affirm your goal, constantly do X, Y, Z things. And it can all be really, really overwhelming, which brings me to my next common mistake that I see, which is wanting to do all the things, right? Overwhelming yourself with information, overwhelming yourself with processes, overwhelming yourself with what you feel you need to do or have to do. So maybe that looks like you're affirming every single day. Maybe that looks like you're journaling every single day. Maybe that looks like you're tapping and you're yogaing and you're playing prosperity games. Maybe it means you're reading. Maybe it means you're signing up for every single free training out there. Maybe it means that you are basically giving yourself zero amount of time to enjoy the feelings of your manifestation because you're just stressing yourself out by thinking about all the shit that you have to do in order to get it. Defeats the purpose. There's no point to that at all. When you are overwhelmed, you are definitely not in the receptive mode, which again, we're going to talk about the receptive mode a lot more in detail tomorrow. It's just important to understand where you are before we can start talking about how we're going to get you to where you want to go. Right? If you know where you are, if you know where you're starting from, that brings a whole another level of clarity. Well, that's a good question. We are told to journal and affirm every day, but only and only if it's bringing up the feelings that you want to be bringing with that manifestation. So go back to your intention statement, right? Along with the goal, we also intended to have certain feelings. Are those feelings coming through when you're doing your journaling and your affirmations? If it's not happening, you may be putting way too much pressure on the goal, on the timeline, on the need to control the outcome, on not letting go of it even for a second. There are so many times, like, your universe is constantly trying to put in moments of feeling good throughout your day. It could be through children, it could be through dogs, it could be through beautiful weather. There are a million beautiful things happening in every single day, in every single person's life, which a lot of times we take for granted. Your health, each breath you have. This was supposed to be a whole other training, but I'm just gonna like throw it in there. Maybe something else will come up for another day. Excuse me, sip time. So yeah, if you're not allowing yourself the space and the time to really enjoy the process, if you're not allowing yourself the space and the time to enjoy the feelings that you want to manifest along with the goals, chances are you are unknowingly pushing your goal away. You're pushing the manifestation away. You're telling the universe, oh, this is such a brilliant story, which I'll come back to, which is basically a devotee is praying to Lord Krishna and asking him to come down to the earth to speak with her. And she is so rigid in her praying. Like she is so obsessed with her praying. Her eyes are closed. She's chanting, 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 that even when the Lord comes down and taps her on the shoulder, she tells him to go away because I'm praying. So even though her manifestation is coming true, because she's so busy asking for it and, kind of obsessing and stuck in the need for asking, 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 and really not allowing, not receiving the manifestation, not receiving and enjoying the fruition of her desires, she never even got to see it. And I feel like, I mean, raise your hand if you've ever felt like this has happened to you, that you've gotten so deeply ingrained into your own, I must do this morning practice, I must do this, I must do that, I must affirm, I must journal. And deep within, you're just like, this isn't fun. I'm not enjoying this process at all. This sucks. Like you're just constantly feeling the pressure and the stress of doing your affirmations, of doing your journaling, of having this manifestation come in. I know I see this a lot with money. People are just stressing themselves out with how much money they want to be making. It might be $1,000, it might be $2,000, but because we're looking at the lack of money, because we're looking at how much we need that money, inside you're still highlighting how awful you feel because you don't have that money, right? Hey Jennifer, good morning. So there you go. Big no-nos, okay? If you find yourself feeling impatient about your goal, cut yourself some slack. This is what you're going to do, right? This is how we're going to free up some space and some energy. You're going to bring yourself to a place of feeling more expansive by releasing that need for a timeline. Affirm to yourself that whatever happens, happens in the perfect space and time. Now, whatever's happening is in the perfect sequence and comes to you at the perfect time when you are ready. All right. Always. The universe is never going to give you things that you are not ready for. You want to make sure that you are allowing that kind of space and that understanding within yourself, within your manifestations, to say, okay, big guy, I know you're watching out for me whenever you think I'm ready. And feel how that feels. If you ever felt impatient, like, this should have been here yesterday. And hey, I've been there. I've done that. Hey, Radhika. Hi, Kanika. So nice of you guys to join. We're kind of like in the middle by now. If you've ever felt yourself get like really, I need this money. I need it yesterday. Why isn't it here yet? And if you were to give yourself a little bit of space and say, okay, maybe if this money comes, that'd be great. And maybe if it doesn't, then it's meant to do, like, I'm not meant to do whatever I was planning to do with it, or I'm meant to do something different or better, usually better, right? Then when you feel yourself having this need for control, especially control over specific outcomes, like where the money is going to come from, when it's going to come from, how is it going to come. There was a time when I was segue into personal story. There was a time when I was dancing full time, which meant like I was working 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I was making 4,000 rupees, which is about $70 a month. A month. I had no life. But I was also very, very sure that I wanted to make way more money. I was just really attached to that outcome coming through dancing. And it took me years to figure out, and a friend knocking me on the head to say, that may never happen. And it was only when I released that expectation that I was able to see multiple other career avenues, different ways that I could be making money, so on and so forth, to a place where now I make 10, 20 times that per month. So, talk about letting shit go. Okay, so needing to control, release it. Give yourself some space, right? The universe loves space. It's the more we try and control things, like you have no idea the number of ways that something can come to you. The universe does. Your soul does. Your soul is going to try and bring you whatever it is that you need in the easiest way possible. Let it. Let it. Make it easy. Make it fun. If it's not fun, it's not manifesting. Okay? It should really be called manifesting. Manifesting. Awful, awful joke. Okay. Then, when you find yourself obsessing over an outcome, drop whatever you're doing. Drop it. Go out in nature. Get yourself really nice and high vibe. Play with some kids or some dogs. Watch something funny on TV. Um, Give yourself a break. Cut yourself some slack. If you find yourself overwhelming yourself, just doing all of the things, find whatever it is that makes you feel better. Do that. And oh, the last mistake that I didn't talk about was taking action before you're in integrity with the feeling. So if you are coming from a place of lack versus abundance, you're going to be doing all of the things, not just with respect to journaling or meditating or your processes or whatever, but also, say, for example, if you were looking to gain, and I know some people want this also, if you were looking to have 5 paying clients because you wanted to get a certain amount of money, and if you were to be taking action which was not in alignment, you might just be saying yes to anybody to fill up those 5 spots. Now, the universe has a particular plan, right? That's why we want to manifest. We want to make shit easier, and not have to chase people down or chase the money down or chase whatever these outcomes. What we want is to make life easier. So if the universe is lining up 3 amazing clients for you, but you're busy running after 3 awful clients who are just not a good fit, who are never going to pay you, you kind of miss out on that easier opportunity, on that more aligned opportunity, and it makes it a lot more difficult, and you just end up pushing away that manifestation that you are trying to line yourself up for. Okay. One way to know whether or not you're aligned with your manifestation is if it's coming, and also by how you're feeling. Those are your 2 ways of knowing. I said one way, I told you 2. So if you're feeling good and if it's starting to show up, then that's how you know you're in alignment. And that brings me to the other concept of signs, which I'm going to say really, really quickly. So I am so proud of everybody who has come on here and shown us their intention. Okay, you've owned your intention. You've made a public declaration to the universe, to yourself, of what your intention is for the next few days, few weeks. We're going to keep the timeline really nice and open. The more open your timeline is, the faster things can actually come to you. Contradiction? No, it's really more of a paradox, because the more ease you have around something, the more easily you can attract it, right? So when it comes to signs, this is mini affirmation from the universe that you're on the right track. All right. So, for example, somebody was asking me, hey, I want this really specific outcome. I want to manifest twin babies. That's a really specific outcome. Now, the question is, so her question was, you said not to be super specific, but I want this specific outcome. So what do I do? Right? Simple. My answer to that is, if it feels good. So if you don't have a whole list of reasons why you won't be having twins, if you don't have a full list of resistant ideas and thoughts and, this entire script going on in the back of your mind to say that twins are impossible for me because I'm X years old and I have Y kind of reproductive history and blah, 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 blah. I have all these scientific facts and figures that show me why it's not possible. If your mind is filled up with all the things saying it's not possible, it's not possible. And you're going to know that because it's going to feel resistant. You're going to feel negative emotion. That negative emotion is a sign telling you, hey, honey, listen, I know what you want, and you're on the opposite path to it. Recalibrate. Bring yourself back to center. Okay? So, however, if you don't have all this resistance going on, if you're feeling really, really good, and a lot of times when I ask people, right, you have X, Y, Z manifestation intention. How do you feel about that? People are like, I feel great, I feel amazing, this lights me up. And the truth is, if you felt great and amazing and it was lighting you up, it would already be here. That's it. Like, that's the magic answer. However, if it's not here yet, that means that there's still a little bit of alignment that can be done or is necessary before it starts showing up, right? So the question is, if you were to go a little bit deeper and find out and ask yourself, what about this do I not believe? What about this am I resisting? What about this isn't quite aligned with the manifestation of it? If you were to ask yourself that, you might come up with certain resistant thoughts, some limiting beliefs. You might find that you are actually not letting in the manifestation or pushing the manifestation away because of certain ideas or doubts. And those are the things that you would want to then either clear up or get into alignment, and then you would see your manifestation. So the baseline being, if you've got a certain degree, like you want to go at least a little bit specific so that you can bring those juicy, goosed up emotions that fill you up. And at the same time, you want to make sure that you leave a little space for magic, because the universe loves a little bit of space. And anything in between, you want to just clear out, make space. Okay. And that's what we're going to be talking about on day 4. We got so many things to talk about. I'm telling you, this manifestation thing is amazing. All right. And then in the meantime, you can always ask for signs. Okay. Either you will start to see signs if you are giving your attention to something in a long, consistent fashion, you're going to start seeing signs. So for example, if you want to manifest twins, maybe you can ask to see signs of things in pairs. 2 of each. Maybe you start to see twins everywhere. Maybe you start to see, twin birds, twin doggies, twin people dressed similarly, twinning. You start to look at and expect and see all these different ways in which the universe could be communicating to you that what you want is on its way. Similarly, for somebody who's asking for money, now your signs could be seeing pictures of money everywhere. It could be seeing billboards with huge money signs or the exact number of or amount that you want to manifest. You could be seeing that everywhere. Those are signs. You could be talking to someone or talking to multiple people and have multiple people repeat to you that particular amount that you want to be manifesting. These are all different ways that the universe, your soul, is telling you, wait up, it's coming. Hey, listen, you're on the right track, it's coming. Okay, so if you're excited, you've got the signs coming in. You may even have some amount, like if it's a car, for example, you want a car in your life. Okay, you're not going to get a steering wheel or like the bumper of a car show up at your doorstep, right? Like it's not going to come in parts like that. But it might come in parts in the sense that you might start seeing this car everywhere. You might start hearing the name of this car in every conversation. You might notice that there is, a random test drive available for this car. And that's how you know you're on the right track. So the way that you're feeling and how it's starting to show up in your experience is going to be the signs to tell you that you're on the right track. So I'm pretty much out of time. But if there are any other questions, please go ahead and drop them in the comments. This has been a really incredibly heavy topic in the sense that there is a lot that I have just said, and I'm very aware that I speak really, really fast. So if you need some time to just chill, breathe it in, digest it, go ahead, take your time. You've got all day today, or, all night tonight, to just let that information sink in. Notice for yourself where you might be making these mistakes, and what can you do in the meantime to just lighten up, right? To give yourself that little space for magic. Your action item for today is to identify which, if any, of these mistakes have you committed in the past. Okay, this is not to show you down. This is not to say, oh man, I fucked up, I can never have what I want ever again. No, this is just to shine a light on any patterns or limiting beliefs that you might have, which we want to kind of clear away and not have coming in the way for your current manifestation. Okay. Then you are going to reiterate, what are you committed to now? So this might mean that feeling, this might mean being open to the signs, this might mean that you're willing to give space to the universe, to your soul, to source, to manifest things in the way that you want. Okay, you can also ask for signs. Maybe you're committed to asking for and receiving signs. And how can you cut yourself some slack today? That's it. If you want, there is a bonus here, second part of the action step. There's a bonus where you give yourself a 10 to 15-minute activity that you can do within the next 24 hours to give yourself that little bit of slack. Okay, it could be meditation. Anybody who's worked with me before, who's done a training with me before, knows I love meditation. And for somebody who thinks so quickly, meditation is like just necessary. Otherwise, I would go insane. So yeah, one chill out activity. So let me just repeat that. Your action item for today is, which of these mistakes do you feel like you've handled, committed, or have happened to you in the past, especially with regards to like things you've tried to manifest before and they haven't worked out? If you can just go back, do a quick search, so you can see what might be coming up. What are you committed to now instead? Like, instead of giving yourself this hard time and pushing this resistance onto your path, what else can you commit yourself to? How can you cut yourself some slack today and give yourself those 10-15 minutes to do some sort of chill out activity? And once you've done your chill out activity, I'm actually going to put a post in here where I want you to write what was the activity that you did, how long you did it for, and then we're all going to celebrate. We're all going to celebrate the fact that you did it. Okay? All right. So I have a couple of questions. How do you get into alignment? By doing things that are non-resistant. High vibe activities, chilling out activities, relaxing about it. Not when we say, obsessing, the opposite of obsessing, relaxing, right? You relax about what it is that you want. You've sent it out in the universe. The universe is doing all it can to bring it to you as quickly as possible, as soon as you're ready. So your job is to just get ready, which is to get in alignment, to act in alignment. And we are going to talk about coming from a place of alignment, I think on day 4, when we talk about belief. So yeah, it's happening. That's how you get into alignment. The whole idea of doing affirmations and journaling and meditating is to allow you to get into alignment. You know whether or not you're in alignment based on how you're feeling. And of course, depending on manifestation to manifestation, whatever you're intending, how you can get into alignment. There are a number of exercises we can do. I do them with my private clients when we work one-on-one, depending on whatever it is that they are interested in bringing about. We focus on that. And then we break it down and we make it easy for that manifestation to enter into your life. Okay. Another great question. How do I get more clear on what I want? Well, first, you go back and watch day 1 where we talked about clarity. Number 2, journaling helps me a lot, helps my clients a lot. Meditation helps a lot. If you do any sort of release work, right? Whether that's energetic release, whether that's tapping. I love tapping, so I say tapping all the time. But any sort of energetic release work, chanting also I think helps, or yoga helps a lot of people. You can become a little bit clearer on what it is you want when you let go of the stuff that you don't want, and your contrasting experiences. So what you're currently living that you don't like, or what you have lived in the past that you don't like, makes it more clear and obvious what it is that you do want. So these are all different ways to get clear. Again, if you're coming into this training, this exercise with a very broad view on what you want, it is of super significance and importance that you narrow it down just a little bit so that we can start feeling those really potent emotions that are pointing you in the right way. All right. So for those people, I should have just asked for more questions. I'm sorry. If this is making sense to you guys, please give me a thumbs up, give me a heart. If you are completely unclear of what I just said, if all of it went over your head, just give me one of those frowny faces so I know who's getting it, who's not getting it. And yeah, if you're catching this on replay, I think we are done here. If you're catching this live, thank you so much for coming. I guess that's it. There's no more questions. Yes. Wow. Okay, that was a power packed training, you guys. That was pretty power packed. So take your time. I'm going to be putting up that post. Again, I'll put the action item in a comment right after this is done so that you can come in and see what your homework is for today. And just know every day that you show up, every day that you do the clearing, this is also clearing, by the way, when we're in each other's energies and we're doing the work, that also helps to get clearer on what you want. That also helps to clear up resistance. It also helps you get into this space of alignment and receiving. Okay, so I'm so excited for the next 3 days. Like, this was the hard stuff. After this, it's all just fun stuff. It's manifesting. Okay, I'm gonna make that a thing. We will see. All right. Thank you guys so much. Good day, good night, wherever you are. And I will see you tomorrow. Please do let me know if you want that training at a later time, if that works for you guys. And if you want it at the same time, just pop a comment in there. Okay. Thank you so much. Bye.